Dude, I swear to God, Phil Spencer's about to beat someone with a freaking Xbox fridge. Okay, so if you don't know, Xbox may have leaked a whole bunch of their emails and documents from the FTC court case. So we have a bunch of information we're not supposed to have right now. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like stuff for an Xbox Series X refresh, as well as the S refresh, a new controller, the fact that Phil Spencer wants to acquire Nintendo. Oh, there's a bunch of spicy meatballs in this. So let's peel the curtain back a little bit and talk about the state of Xbox and Microsoft as a whole. Because I think it's safe to say they've been trailing a bit this console generation as well as the last one. And I think a larger video should be made, probably in the future, about how I think Xbox's success is directly correlated with Halo's. When Halo's doing good, Xbox does well. And when Halo is sagging, Xbox sags. But I'm someone who kinda grew up with the Xbox, the 360 mainly, where me and my friends in school always played games. We played Halo, Call of Duty, Minecraft, whatever. We played it on Xbox. The 360 was a great system, with a bunch of fantastic games to it. You get to the Xbox One though, and it's just an absolute clown show. I swear to God, I tried to play Halo with my friend, and half the time either Halo wouldn't work, or the Xbox wouldn't work. Sometimes both of them. And the system itself was also lagging in power compared to the PS4, and the well of exclusives started to dry up. We move on over to the current generation with the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S, and well, the consoles themselves at least seem fine to me. Like nothing absurdly wrong with them. You have options for a cheaper one, if you want that, or a more pricier one with more power to it, that a bunch of absolute giga nerds can debate about which is more powerful, but let's be honest, PS5 and Xbox Series X, there's not going to be that much of a difference to them, right? At least to my understanding. But the big thing Xbox has been pushing lately has been the Xbox Game Pass. They've even removed Xbox Live in service of replacing it with Xbox Game Pass Core. And it's kind of funny, because if I told you that a modern console that has sufficient power, a good list of studios developing exclusives for it, that has varying models depending upon your price point and what you want out of its power scale, or power level, alongside a subscription service that gives you access to an entire catalog of games to play at your convenience, you'd probably say, okay, well, that console must be doing incredibly well. So why is it lagging behind Nintendo and PlayStation? Let's actually talk about this, because I think it's way simpler than some people give it credit for. Phil Spencer even talked about this a while back on an interview. He said, well, the Xbox One and PS4 era was when console players really started to develop their digital libraries of games. Kind of similar to how PC games operate. Like with Steam, you have a library of all of your games that you just download at your convenience. There's no real physical media to be there, or to be had, at least for most cases. The PS4 and Xbox One era really started to popularize that for the console market. There was always a physical media slice of the equation. However, if you were there for the beginning of the Xbox One marketing cycle, and when it was announced, it was a freaking clown show. They barely talked about games, they talked about TV a lot. It was a weaker console compared to the PS4, to my understanding. And this may be anecdotal, but the freaking console just didn't work half the time for me. Or my friend. And people just gradually moved on over to the PlayStation 4, or, later down the line, the Nintendo Switch. Cut forward to the current generation with the PS5, the Xbox Series X and S, well, those digital libraries carried over. But people had formed them for the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation. So PS4 players largely migrated to the PS5. Nintendo Switch players just kinda chilled there. Whereas Xbox players migrated, but because of the blunders of the Xbox One console, there were just not as many. But now, those problems kind of became exaggerated and exacerbated because of a simple, undeniable reality. People's games were on other consoles. And people will go where the people are. So more and more people kept going to the PlayStation, or going to Nintendo, or going to PC. Because this is another aspect of the whole Xbox debacle when it comes to these whole quote-unquote console wars that people kind of ignore and forget about. Xbox nowadays isn't just a console. They have Game Pass. They have PC Game Pass. They sell their games day one on PC as well. Do they want to sell consoles? Absolutely. Are they selling as many as they probably want? No. However, they have the PC market as well. So I don't think it would be apt to say that Xbox is dying or anything. The PC market is large, eternal, and will never go away. And subsequently, without any further changes, Xbox Game Pass is a tremendous offer. It is a really good deal that gives you access to a bunch of games at a relatively cheap price. That is a good deal. So funnily enough, in my opinion, the main thing Xbox is struggling with right now is two things. One, residual effects of losing the Xbox One and PS4 era quote-unquote console war. And two, they may be signing a bunch of exclusives and a bunch of companies to develop games for Xbox and for Microsoft, whether it's for the console or for PC, but the problem is, these games aren't releasing in good states. Redfall being a prime example of what's going on here, as well as Halo Infinite. They keep investing in games that keep flopping, or not doing as well as they should be. Halo Infinite had no right to be as bad as it was on release. A campaign that was solidly but a multiplayer that was extremely, well, anemic. There was just not much to it. We had to wait in time for a freaking Slayer playlist for no reason. The customization and progression systems were borked because those systems were ripped out to be sold back to you piecemeal as microtransactions or through other forms of monetization, like Battle Pass and stuff like that. You have games like Redfall that just release in unfinished, buggy states, and that reputation builds. People start to lose trust. However, all it takes is one banger. All it takes is one good showing, and people's perceptions can start to change, and tides can start to move. Starfield, whatever your opinion on Starfield is, has been doing pretty dang well for them. I think they just announced 10 million players for it, and yeah, it is on Xbox Game Pass, but again, that is part of Xbox's marketing strategy, utilizing Game Pass. If Xbox can just actually put out good games again, I think they would be in a far better position, at least in terms of their reputation. But this is when the leaks start to come into play, because I do not understand the Xbox mid-generation refresh. I know it's a bit of standard practice for these consoles to do a mid-gen refresh, but I don't understand necessarily Xbox's motivation here. I don't think they have a hardware issue. I don't think that whatsoever. I think they have a software issue. New hardware is not going to remedy that. They just need to make and put out good games that work on day one and feel like complete experiences on day one. PlayStation does that. And whatever you think of a PlayStation game on an individual level, those games feel complete, feature complete, and polished on day one. At least far more often than not. The same cannot be said for Xbox. Now, it would be best for the consumer for more competition. I don't want to see everything just go to one console, or one publisher, or one developer, or whatever. Competition breeds competitive business practices which reward the consumer with better deals. How do you think Xbox Game Pass came to be to begin with? Because they needed a leg up, they needed something of value to the consumer that can draw people to it. Game Pass is a really solid option. But you got these new consoles for the refresh which give you like better Wi-Fi, more storage, and a new controller which, cool, I think Xbox, in my opinion, has by far the best controller in the market right now. I do like the DualSense for the rumble features, not the rumble feature, whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about, the thing that vibrates on the inside to replicate and help you immerse in the game. That's a really cool feature. The thing is, though, the Xbox controller has always felt more comfortable in my hands. And to me, that's something I value. But I don't really see what the new controller is really gonna do for Xbox outside of just putting the name out there. And now we start to kind of like bring it back to the whole Nintendo topic that's been going around and making the rounds like freaking wildfire right now. One, I think people are kind of misrepresenting Phil Spencer on this issue, because if you actually read the email, he doesn't say that they can just go out and acquire Nintendo right now, and that Nintendo's a long-term thing for them. But outside of a bunch of other nuance in that email, I'll leave some links in the description to some IGN articles about this, by the way, so you can go read it for yourself. But I think one of the main problems Xbox has been having for a while now has been their focus. Their focus has been on acquisition and hardware. Now, I think acquisition for them is important to bolster the Game Pass. I understand that element. Getting Nintendo games and putting them on Game Pass would help bolster that as well. However, the problem is, the underlying issue is, people like Nintendo games because they work and they're fun on day one. The problem is, Xbox games aren't, at least on the whole. Starfield is proving to be a bit of an exception, at least for console. I think Xbox needs to prioritize the companies and games that they have and make sure that they come out polished, finished, and entertaining and engaging. They need more Starfields. They don't need more Halo Infinites and Redfalls. I think the stars would have to align for them in order to come back in the whole console wars. Like, Sony and or Nintendo would have to, like, colossally mess up. But I think Xbox doubling down on what they actually have and investing even more onto the PC market could be an easy play for them. And they've been doing that with Xbox Game Pass for the PC. That's a phenomenal idea. Invest in the PC market. Invest on your launcher on PC. Make it better, more functional. I think the broad brushstroke argument that I'm making is that it seems like Xbox is trying to solve a problem that requires a sharp tool with a blunt instrument. They're trying to outspend the competition. They're trying to levy the might of Microsoft's bank account against the competition, absorb everything, and then be the last one standing. They need more actual technique. They need to release games in a finished, polished state that are fun and interesting to play in. This strategy right now seems to be, at least, hire up all the third-party developers and publishers, bring them into Xbox and Microsoft, and just win that way, with brute force and pure money. And in the long term, that may work out. Nintendo and Sony are not going to win a spending war against Microsoft. They're just not going to do that. But Nintendo and PlayStation, well, they put out good games. That can win console wars. That can cement your place in the gaming market. Hell, look how Xbox came to be to begin with. What put them on the map? The console itself? No, it was Halo. Halo was such a phenomenon that everybody wanted to play it. And how did you have to play it? You had to have an Xbox. Combat Evolved also eventually came to PC, but that's besides the point. If you wanted Halo, you wanted Halo 2 and Halo 3, which for their times, Halo 2 and 3, to my knowledge, were the most profitable or highest earning, I forget which, pieces of media, period. For their time, you had to be on Xbox. You had to be with Microsoft. You had to have an Xbox or an Xbox 360. And once they hooked you with that, they can sell you a whole bunch of other games like Gears of War. Call of Duty was third party, but still it sold a ton on Xbox. So is Xbox going to buy up Nintendo? Probably not. Even Phil Spencer said that he doesn't see Nintendo selling, pretty much. Again, read the email. But down the line, if Nintendo's next console starts to flop, or Nintendo comes into some kind of financial troubles for whatever reason, Xbox's bank account will always be there. Microsoft has money. Their strategy seems to be to outspend the competition, because they can absolutely do that. But it won't work if the games that they are spending all this money on come out and are bad, or garbage, or don't work. You need these games to come out in finished, polished states, have Game Pass there to be an incentivizing offer to play these great games on, and then you may start to drag people over to your Xbox console. They keep thinking about the long-term ramifications of acquisitions, but keep ignoring that they have to focus on, once they have these acquisitions, you have to make them work. Starfield, at least, seems to be a pretty dang good game for a lot of people out there. It's not going to be for everyone, a Bethesda game never is, but it seems to be well received on the whole. They need more Starfields, less Redfalls. They need that to become a trend, quickly and immediately. But yeah, we were absolutely not supposed to see any of this information right now. Because, oh my god, dude, we have like specs for the new consoles as well. Oh yeah, and they want to release a new like mainline console in 2028, I believe. Which makes sense from the whole, like, 8-year console generation. But again, if they want that new console in 2028 to do well, they need to flesh out the catalog of games right now. Because they may keep thinking they can throw new hardware at this problem, or hire more acquisitions, and reach for the stars in that regard, but it will all be for naught if the software to support all of that fumbles. They have a bunch of great branches. They have a solid console, a great controller, an amazing deal with Game Pass, but they need a chunk of great games to prop all that up, to support it, to ground it. I think they keep not focusing on that aspect. Or whatever their approach has been, they need to course correct. Otherwise, the continued trends towards PlayStation and Nintendo will continue to happen. Because your games may be available on PC, but if they're trash, no one's gonna play them. And with that, I think I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in, my pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, have a great day, go play some video games if you can, and as always, I'll see you all next time. Leave a comment down below, by the way, with what you think Xbox needs to do to get back on track, or do you think they're already doing it? And if so, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.